Welcome back to the MG YouTube channel. I'm Malachi Greb, CEO of Elite Automation, Elite Properties. We talk all things investments, business operations, and Tesla here on this YouTube channel. So subscribe if you're into those types of things. Again, I'm a big investor in Tesla. I've been investing in Tesla for over like 10 years now. But let's jump into this reaction video of Elon's interview with CNBC and what's going to happen with Robotaxi here in Austin, Texas.
Welcome back to Squawk. And CNBC's headline-making interview with Elon Musk. He talked about his time working to cut federal government spending. He recently pulled back from that effort. While Musk was at DOGE, the U.S. Agency for International Development became one of the faces of the severe cost cutting. Now, Musk famously posted on X that his team spent the first weekend of February feeding USAID into the wood chipper. Here's how he addressed the agency in yesterday's interview.
First of all, any program in USAID that had any semblance of merit was retained and folded into the State Department. So, and if there's some exception to that, we're all ears and we'd love to look at it.
After starting the year focusing on DOGE, Musk now saying that he plans to be at the White House a couple of days every few weeks to help the Trump administration.
Musk also confirming Tesla and the plans there to have robotaxis on the streets of Austin, Texas by the end of next month. In an interview with CNBC's David Faber, Musk said that Tesla is hoping to bring the self-driving taxis to Los Angeles and San Francisco after Austin, with a careful start and then rapid expansion after the initial start. He also talked about potential partnerships with other automakers.
There are a number of major automakers that have talked to us about licensing self-driving, and we're very much open to that. I think the more we demonstrate the capability of self-driving, the more that they will want to license it, and we're happy to help.
And Mr. Musk has been known to make some outsized prediction when it comes to his technology. He said he expects
Brian, thank you. And Elon Musk is here. We're in the lobby of the Gigafactory here in Austin. Last time I was here was your annual meeting a couple of years ago, so thank you for having us back.
Welcome back.
You got a Robotaxi right behind you.
We do?
Yeah, yeah, you can see it right there. And obviously you've been meeting with the Transportation Secretary.
Yeah.
Are you going to have full autonomous on the roads of Austin by the end of June?
Yes.
You are. What gives you that confidence?
We have cars driving 24/7 with drivers in the cars, and we see essentially no interventions. So we want to be very careful with the first introduction of unsupervised full self-driving, meaning that the car's driving around with no one in it. Right. So we're going to
no one behind a driver's.
Well, yes, and sometimes no one in it at all.
Right.
It's going to pick someone up. The car obviously has to be incredibly safe. So we're just being, we have thousands of cars that are being tested, which is creating some strange situations where we just drive. There's just a bizarre number of Teslas driving past people's houses. They're like, what's going on?
We even saw one last night coming from the airport. Yeah, driving it.
Yeah, so the fact that they say that they're having thousands of Tesla vehicles driving around it's a pretty big deal. So that means they're going pretty hard in just making sure they have all the data, everything they need. All the engineers have all the incidences and everything they need. So they're probably mapping out every single road in Austin to try to make sure that when they launch Austin, it actually performs well. Now, a big thing about Tesla compared to like other companies like Waymo is they're trying to say like no geofence, but I don't think Tesla is necessarily geofencing. I think they're just geofencing to launch, and I mean, there's gonna have to be a geofence because it's gonna have to be there just for the sake of like regulation and everything like that, not necessarily the technology. But the big thing is they want to solve for every incident that you see in Austin, Texas. So every single city will have its own incidents, meaning, for example, one of the things I experience here in Evansville, Indiana is one-lane bridges. Anytime we go on a one-lane shared bridge where there's like not 2 lanes for each direction, but literally 1 lane only, the Tesla never really gives right away. It just goes right through, and like sometimes you have to take over, and maybe it wouldn't cause a wreck, and I don't think it would ultimately cause a wreck, but it'd either be like a really dick move and like kind of cutting somebody else off when it would have been their turn, or a potential incident where you have to like slam on your brakes to avoid the collision, or the autonomy would slam on the brakes to avoid the collision. But point being with that is like that's a super extreme scenario, but it is something that I've seen here in Evansville. And there's just other few incidences, like kind of clips like this median or whatever. You can check out the RFSD videos on our YouTube channel if you want to, see like some of the things that are incidences that we have that are going on here. But point being is those incidences will need to be solved for, right? Because you can't have a Robotaxi and then you still have those incidences. So they got to solve for all of the incidences that they're seeing in Austin. Some of those instances may be that like sometimes the vehicle doesn't get over into the right lane and gets into the left lane and misses its turn, especially on like an interstate type of like bypass type of deal. So they want to solve for all those small incidences to ensure, especially safety related ones, right? If it's a missed turn, whatever, they can tolerate that. The customer may not be happy about it, but they can tolerate missed turns. What they can't tolerate is wrecks and deaths and injuries caused by the Robotaxis.
Alone.
So just
look very lonely.
It's just they look a little lonely.
Yeah.
So it's looking good for Austin next month.
Yeah. Some estimates have been that you're only going to have 10 to 12 of them on the road initially. I mean, it's going to be a very small amount. Is that correct?
Yeah, for the first week.
First week. How do you?
Boom. That one right there is huge, right? He says for the first week. Yeah, for the first week. Like that's crazy. So this is like the new part that's really been that's came to surface is they never really specified like when, how long, how many numbers. But so he's saying there'll be the initial 10 to 20 or whatever for the first week, which means they're planning on scaling after that. So again, extremely important to notate that.
Well, we'll have to see how well it does, but I think it's prudent for us to start with a small number, confirm that things going well, and then scale it up proportionate to how well we see it's doing.
Right, and what's going to be a judge of how well it's doing?
I mean, are there any incidents? Are there any interventions? But we want to deliberately take it slow. I mean, we could start with 1,000 or 10,000 on day one, but
he said we can start with 1,000 or 10,000 on day one, which means that they're plausibly ready for 1,000 to 10,000 right now. But for safety reasons, let's take this a little bit slow. Let's not rush into this thing. Let's take our time. So that was huge. We can start with thousands or tens of thousands right now, which means that they might scale up to thousands or tens of thousands in literally weeks, depending on how things go. Like literally, if it's scale, no incidences, they're gonna scale very quickly. Now, if they scale week 1, no problem. Week 2 they scale a little bit, and then we ran into a problem. There was an accident, pretty major accident. So again, it's gonna really matter if there's any incidences whatsoever, especially collision-based incidences. And if there's no collision-based incidences, then I think that they're gonna scale it up extremely fast. It's the incidences that are gonna make the difference on how fast they scale or not.
I think that would be prudent. So we'll start with probably 10 for a week, then increase it to 20, 30, 40. And I think by, say, we'll probably be at 1,000 within a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
So they're thinking 1,000 within a few months, okay? Again, that's a pretty big number, because if you go look at like Waymo, people are like, buzzing up Waymo's ahead. 1,000 within a few months. If I'm not mistaken, Waymo only has a total of 1,500 vehicles in the entire fleet, and they're doing $250 million in revenue per year. So that gives you an example of how quickly they can get to that scale and be able to have that many on the network. Again, that's just a few months.
Expand to other cities, so expand to San Francisco, California. So we'll start with probably 10 for a week, then increase it to 20, 30, 40. And I think by, say, we'll probably be at 1,000 within a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll expand to other cities, so expand to San Francisco, California. Los Angeles.
Is that
San
a
Antonio.
real?
All right, so it ends there. So it basically says that they're going to expand as soon as they're able to prove it out with like 1,000 in let's say Austin. They're going to start scaling it out to other cities. Again, Waymo has already paved the way for a lot of this, so like they just need final technological approval of their particular vehicle, and if they don't get approval, then it's likely that that area is not being fair to Tesla, and then they can go to court and potentially win in a battle that says no, we should be able to do this, or they could just activate it and let the city or whoever sue them for operating illegally or whatever they want to say, but at some point, like, some things are legal and some things are like a civil matter. So if they're not like breaking a law, then they can get away with a lot more. I'm not saying that Tesla would do something like that, but I'm just saying that like they're going to push the envelope, and they're also not going to tolerate anything that's not fair. If you're going to have a Waymo vehicle be able to do it, and then you're going to try to say our vehicle can't do it, what are you going to say? Because they don't have LiDAR or something? Which would be just ridiculous for them to do that if the data shows that their vehicle safe enough. And again, Elon is meeting with the countrywide DOT director, and I'm sure they're sharing their data to show how safe their vehicles are and everything, and so they can show the safety levels of their vehicle. Where the director was mentioning something about like a lot of companies are not really wanting to share their data, and it's because they don't want. I think it's because they don't want the DOT to know the truth, and DOT, Department of Transportation, they don't want them to know the truth about how their data is, because maybe there's too many collisions, too many incidences or something like that, and their words are going to be canceled. And I understand that, like, you don't want to get canceled if it's safe enough, but maybe regulators still might cancel you anyway. But yeah, I mean, I'm really excited to see how like this next 6 months goes with Robotaxi. I have a pretty big bet in place that says that, this Robotaxi thing is going to go pretty well. So I'm really hoping for it. But I just believe in Tesla, and I believe in the Robotaxi. That's why I have a Cybertruck Model Y, and continue to expand into other Tesla vehicles in the future. So hopefully this was enjoyable for you guys, educational. Subscribe if you like more content like this. Go check out our other videos in our playlist for Tesla or other investment relating not advice, because that's illegal or something, but thoughts, let's say. So catch you guys in the next one, and nice seeing you.